Welcome to Spiritual Astrology with Allison Taylor-Moseley. Today, we will explore the astrological energies, transits, and spiritual themes for the week of July 16 to July 22nd. This week, we enter Leo season, but this is unlike any Leo season you've ever experienced in your lifetime. And that's because of the rare configuration that's forming in the sky that has been building for some time now. That minor grand trine between Uranus and Gemini, Neptune and Aries, and Pluto and Aquarius, all at 4 degrees. And this week, Jupiter reaches 4 degrees Leo and aligns with that configuration to form what's called a basket configuration. And it's very climactic, it's rare, and the sun will enter Leo and be co-present with Jupiter in Leo this month during this rare configuration. And we'll talk about that more. Now, the aspects this week, Uranus will trine Pluto, July 18. It goes exact at 4 degrees, 29 minutes. July 19, Mars sextiles Saturn at 4 degrees. July 20, Jupiter trines Neptune, and Jupiter opposes Pluto. And July 21st, Jupiter sextiles Uranus, and then July 22nd, the sun enters Leo. Now, we've been talking a lot, like I said, about these energies for a while, and I want to make each episode useful and not filled with too much repetitive information. And these energies will be playing out off and on throughout 2029. So instead of going through each day, I'm going to discuss the overall themes that are present this week because they will also be present through 2029. And we're going to tap into what's possible. So this week, Jupiter is very active. It's a climactic week because of all those outer planets are in a dance. Starting with Saturn, she makes an important aspect this week when she sextiles Mars at 14 degrees Gemini on July 19. Saturn is at 14 degree Aries, and there's more understanding of what to do next or what to choose because you're more clear about what's in alignment with your new energy and what is not, and you're more clear about who you are. And that's because Saturn, who's now at 14 degrees, has moved away from Neptune, who's at 4 degrees. And so the plan might feel more stable now, more realistic, and there's more momentum and understanding around what you're building and intentionally creating next. That Saturn has come a long way. She entered Aries on February 13 of this year to stay until April 2028. And when she entered Aries, that solidified your rebirth. She made that historical conjunction to Neptune at 0 degrees Aries, and that helped bring in a bigger dream, a more elevated dream. It planted a seed. And since then, more developments have come through around what you've been creating in your Aries house. So Saturn in Aries is a new chapter for all of us. But when she's with Neptune, the dream is overpowering. And that can come with illusions. And since she's now moved further ahead of Neptune to 14 degrees Aries, she can see the reality of what's possible. The plan is clearer. It's more practical, more realistic, more stable. A lot of people are already seeing the pieces come together. The parts of your plan and your goals that were unclear are now clear this week. And this last 6 months or so has required a lot of faith in the universe, a lot of trust in yourself and your gut and knowing what's right for you, trusting what you're sensing, even without the facts, what's safe for you, what aligns with your new energy, and what feels authentic. There could be physical manifestations happening this week that start with something that you originally dreamed up when Neptune first dipped into Aries, March 30, 2025 to July 4th, 2025. If you can remember back then, that might give you a clue as to more of what has been unfolding. That may have been when it first started showing. And then Saturn re-entered Aries January 26th, 2026 of this year. So Neptune has been slowly showing you this new dream because Neptune's effect can kind of go unnoticed. It's like a faucet that drips quietly over time. And then after a while, you see a change in the surface. Well, Neptune's effect can shape you very subtly, often without noticing. It can be a dreamy, imaginative, head in the clouds energy. And so maybe you had these dreams that you didn't think were possible in real life, or it's been building for a while, and now it's coming into reality. People who are willing to take chances, to say yes, to be more adaptable, people who are open to change and stay curious are the ones who will be able to manifest with all of the energy that's developing. So on July 19, when Saturn sextiles Mars at 14 degrees Gemini, this helps Saturn get going with her plans, with her goals. It helps with actionable steps. Mars is this dutiful soldier that's ready to take action on what Saturn needs. This is the support you need. Mars in Gemini is ready to take care of tasks. You might be really busy this week doing things that are associated with the foundational steps that are needed to keep your plan strong, on target, and getting to the finish line. So that could look like paperwork, important appointments, setting up a new routine, gathering important information, making new connections. You have a clearer picture of where you're going so you can start executing those things now. You might also have more endurance this week, more motivation to kind of stick with things. And you could meet with somebody that you work with long term. Pay attention to who you meet, or you could work on something that is long lasting. So it's a great week for working on your goals, accomplishing things, and making progress in your Gemini house. But Jupiter is the star this week. And like I said, she's been inching her way towards this 4-degree point, which she reaches this week, which is exactly opposite Pluto at 4 degrees Aquarius, exactly trine Neptune at 4 degrees Aries, exactly sextile Uranus at 4 degrees Gemini. Jupiter in Leo is bringing in more of what lights you up, makes you shine. She showcases your talents. She taps into more of your creativity, more pleasure, more fun. She's here to boost your confidence, inspire you to express yourself, open yourself up to more of your talents, and how you're here to grow and expand your creative self. She helps you with that creative spark that's needed to make power moves. So even if you're not a creative person, like an artist or an entrepreneur, everyone's an artist by nature, because the way you choose to live your life, the choices you make, the paths you follow, the clothes you wear, the topics that pique your interest, the hobbies and people you attract are all an expression of you. And no two people are alike. So, what do you have to share with the world? Jupiter in Leo helps you tap into your uniqueness and your innate talents and find the courage to show people who you are, no matter how shy you are. And that's the Leo area of your chart. What house is that for you? That's where you have natural talents, gifts, where you can shine. And Jupiter is expanding that in a huge way. Not just because she's traveling through your Leo house, but because she's tapping into that minor grand trine, those 3 outer planets that's so rare. So, how will she interact with those planets when she reaches that 4-degree point? It puts a fire under your dreams. It helps catapult you. This means your talents and how you're here to shine. The parts of your creative self are now connecting with all these different areas in your chart. And each house is a different area of life. Jupiter rules Pisces and Sagittarius, so those houses are going to benefit from what's unfolding with Jupiter and Leo. But almost every house is being affected right now. Uranus is the co-ruler of your Aquarius house. Neptune's the co-ruler of your Pisces house. And Pluto is the co-ruler of your Scorpio house. So many areas of life are lighting up at once. Instead of one chapter beginning, it can feel like multiple areas of life are experiencing change, each talking to one another and working together. And now your purpose and your gifts can find new expression. What creative potential has been waiting for you? Where do your gifts deserve a larger audience? How are you here to shine? You may find a place for that this week. Those three outer planets are aligning in such a supportive way that it helps things come together. Parts of the plan you didn't see when you first set out are now coming together. That's why you had faith. So this brings in support and opportunity, ease, flow, the right people. You might feel like it's all green lights, but that doesn't mean there won't be hiccups. Because with big changes, there's always going to be things ending so that you can make enough space for what's new. There's only so much space in your cup. So to function at this higher frequency, you have to let go of the lower frequencies that do not align, that create blocks and keep things from flowing. Now, Venus is in Virgo this week and can help you decide what is valuable, what is not, can bring in better flow with the daily grind and what you're taking care of every day. And that can be such a blessing with these intense energies, juggling so much. Venus in Virgo helps you find some order. It's an earth sign. And she's moving away from that square to Uranus at 4 degrees Gemini. So there's less instability. And each of the outer planets have a different role. Pluto in Aquarius is your soul's evolution. That Aquarius house is in your birth chart. That's where you're transforming those house themes on a very deep level. And any planets that you have will transform as well. Any planets you have in Aquarius, that's where you're going to experience a death and rebirth before she leaves in 2044. Pluto in Aquarius demands authenticity. Anything that's not authentic will not survive in this new energetic landscape. This is where we see things end for good. It can be destructive, triggering, and make you feel out of control. Pluto makes you face your fears. And she's opposite that Jupiter in Leo. Jupiter in Leo can sometimes wear a mask, do things for the applaud, to impress others. They're performers after all. But Leo is deeply creative. And whatever they do and say needs to come from a place of authenticity. That's where your power lies. That Aquarius energy is not about following the crowd. It's about following your calling. Aquarius is independent, detached from what others are saying so they can focus on their lofty goals and dreams. And Pluto in Aquarius shows you how you can tap into more of your personal power by listening to your higher self. That Pluto in Aquarius can help you tap into your psychic gifts, your clairvoyance. It brings enlightenment, breakthroughs, higher wisdom, and a knowingness about the future, about next steps, especially in your Aquarius house, but also in your Gemini house, because that Pluto in Aquarius makes a trine to Uranus and Gemini. And Uranus is the co-ruler of Aquarius, and she's a fast-moving energy who makes reverses, changes her mind, changes direction without notice. And this can bring in a lot of downloads as well. Thoughts popping into your head. You might not know where they came from. But it's important that you consider these thoughts as messages about next steps. Your thoughts are not random. They're seeds for future events. The thoughts you choose to act on are what become your fate. And Uranus and Pluto are working together in a favorable trine to bring lightning fast information about your future, about next steps. And it can sometimes feel like your higher self is talking to you. So start noticing how when you follow what your higher self says, you're rewarded. It also puts you ahead of the crowd. So that Uranus trine Pluto is very empowered by her thoughts. And that's where you want to be consciously creating your future. Your thoughts and words can manifest into reality right now. So be aware of what you're telling yourself, what you're saying out loud, your inner dialogue, the information that you're absorbing. Stay in a high vibration and stay laser focused on what you want to manifest. When Jupiter sextiles Uranus this week, the plan comes together. This brings in power, strength, bold action, exciting movement, and creative inspiration. That Uranus and Gemini is about your words and your thoughts and your daily interactions and what's happening in day to day. And Jupiter in Leo lights that on fire. So important conversations, thoughts, and ideas come to life this week. And when Uranus makes that sextile to Neptune, she gets creatively inspired. She gets spiritually guided. She knows what's important to her and what's connected to her new dream. And this helps with your rebirth, with your self-image, with trusting yourself, with navigating this new path with more intuition. That's what your Neptune is, and less reliance on needing outside confirmation. Neptune brings in spiritual understanding about your new dream, about new earth, about the new you, because you're birthing a new identity. And Neptune is your imagination. It's your connection to your spiritual self. And Aries is a fire starter. So when Jupiter trines Neptune, that helps you form the dream. And what started as a vague idea is now ready to be chased. If you have spiritual gifts, this is your time to shine. This is when those gifts become incredibly useful and where you can help others navigate these new energies. Now, July 22nd, the sun enters Leo and joins Jupiter. And this puts more emphasis on that Leo house, on your creative talents, ushering you to be more courageous. It's an opportunity to work on your confidence. Sun brings in more passion, more fire, more desire. It gives you that push you needed to put yourself out there, to take a risk, to do the thing that maybe you've been thinking about for a while, ruminating on it, and now you feel like nothing's holding you back. Or maybe you're still apprehensive, but you know it's now or never. Maybe the obstacles are out of the way and now you can move forward. Maybe you were in your own way, afraid to take a risk, and now you have the courage. That sun entering Leo signals the time is now. It's time to shine. This is it, now or never. This is where you put yourself out there and make an announcement. You'll start the thing. Take bold action. You'll see other people doing that as well. Let's go. Jupiter and Sun together is powerful. It's creative. It's strong. And you'll see people coming out of their shell, showing more courage. And it's going to help you be braver as well. So even if you didn't feel comfortable putting yourself out there, you don't feel comfortable in your previous version of yourself either. You're not going in that direction. And maybe you're going in a direction and it's something you've never done before, and that's why it's out of your comfort zone. But whatever it is, you'll find that if you throw yourself into it, it will work out and things will fall into place. And people who take those risks will be rewarded. And there's so much support this week for manifesting what you want. It just requires action, taking the leap, little courage. You don't want to shy away. It's a great week to plant seeds, tap into your vision, your heart, what you're sensing, and what truly aligns with you, and trusting that. Just trust that it will work out. That Jupiter in Leo brings in faith. Where's Leo in your chart? That's where you can find that courage to go for it. Aries is also a courageous sign. Neptune and Saturn are in Aries. Pluto's very independent. So there's a lot of opportunity for people who are willing to go for it, be brave. We have been through a breakdown of an old cycle that's been happening since 2020. 2026 to 2029 represents the opportunity to consciously build what comes next for yourself. So I hope this inspires you and helps you go for it this week and into August. We have eclipse season coming up August 12 in Leo and August 28 in Pisces. And that will feel like we are really wrapping up the old. The nodes of fate change signs next week, July 26, 27, depending on where you are in the country or in the planet. So get ready for even more dynamic changes in your Aquarius and Leo houses coming up. That north node of destiny will enter Aquarius. The south node will enter Leo. I did write about that already. You can find it on my Substack blog. I'll link it below. And remember, it's Leo season this week, as of July 22nd. And that means more good times, more playfulness, more ability to have fun. So, as intense as these energies sound, they are quite amazing. They can be delightful, surprisingly refreshing, brilliant, and exciting. I have moved from Austin, Texas to the south of France in a town called Montpellier. And so I am navigating new language, new culture, a new home base for my family of five. So I'd love to know how it's playing out for you. Leave a comment and share how it's playing out for you. And thank you for your likes, your shares, and your comments. And I will see you next week. Take care.